And with thousands of houses around this mall, has 271 going to save the mall?
Well, I think that's a good question. One, it does put a captured audience on site. It's a very convenient place to live, to be able to go shop and eat. So, I mean, we feel like, you can, across the country, you see this model of putting more rooftops into these centers. Otherwise, if you don't create sort of this environment of activity and investment on site, there's going to be a challenge for these malls to sustain themselves. And again, I think it's important to note, it's 110 acres here. We're talking about 4.2 acres of rezoning for residential use. If there was any other changes to that C2, and I know Mr. Cafaro will say this, his commitment is to sustain and build the tax base on the commercial zone properties. Any different change, anything else we wanted to do, we'd have to come to this Board of Supervisors to do it.
I still don't see how this is going to save the mall when you have Target, you have Kohl's, you have Best Buy, you have stores that sell appliances across the street, which is the city of Fredericksburg, and we're giving up prime real estate, commercial real estate, to help their economy, not Spotsylvania.
Well,
we need those stores here in Spotsylvania, and I like to see those kind of stores come over to the mall.
Well, I'll let Mr. Cafaro jump on this too, but a big box Sears department store is not good. Is not the market. Is not going to be successful at the mall. I would also note that the answer to doing nothing, the thinking we're just going to wait for another big box to come, is not the answer. The answer is to bring investment to the site, and this is the best way to do it. I know Mr. Cafaro wants to add some other things to that.
Thank you. My name is Anthony Cafaro. I'm the co-president of the Cafaro Company. Mr. Jett, I'd like to just respond specifically to your question about will 271 units save the mall. We don't believe that the mall is per se at the point of needing saved. It needs to continue to evolve, and we believe that this development and adding the 271 units helps diversify, helps future-proof the shopping center and the tax base that it generates. One thing that's interesting, and I think a lot of people don't recognize the process that companies like ours go through in order to attract the retailers that you just mentioned, whether it's Target, Best Buy, and the like, and whoever will be those next retailers in the next decade or so to come. It is necessary for us to show that what we are doing here at Spotsylvania Towne Centre is consistent with what is occurring elsewhere throughout the country and throughout the region. As you head north towards the Beltway, as you're in Richmond, where there are larger shopping areas and more dense population, you see these types of developments as commonplace. The optics alone of having a residential component at Spotsylvania Towne Centre really makes a big difference when we're convincing these retail and restaurant and entertainment companies to locate here, to invest their dollars with us. Will 271 units in themselves and the people that live there make the difference in terms of the dollars spent by those individuals? Perhaps not. Will the optics of new investment, diversification of not just having traditional retail there, make a difference and compel new businesses to come here? We believe that's the case, and that has been the case across the country. Just today, it was announced that Belk Department Store, a company that's been around and it's for over 150 years, will be entering bankruptcy. And that's very we're very fearful of those types of decisions. We just completed renegotiations with JCPenney. Our shopping center industry is under siege. We need to continue to diversify. This is a project that we attempt to be proactive. We've started these discussions several years ago. We're fortunate that we believe, a head start against others as compared to other malls of this type nationally. We believe, in our experience, again, 70 plus years and having developments across the country, that this is essential today to keep Spotsylvania Towne Centre viable and to continue to generate the tax revenues that the county has enjoyed and that we have enjoyed for so many years. There's going to be contraction. We believe that we're going to be in position to create a more suitable and better shopping experience, and we'll be able to, the next round of retailers. Now, you mentioned the Targets and the Best Buys. Many retailers have said, well, we have an outdated model. That store was built 10 or 20 years ago. Our new store is perhaps smaller, has to have additional amenities such as curbside parking. We hope to be able to accommodate those requests. And retailers don't always stay in the same locations. Restaurants don't always stay in the same. We want to be positioned to be able to look what's elsewhere in our community, more than likely in the city of Fredericksburg, and be able to attract those folks from there, and also other types of tenants and businesses that are not in our community at all, that are present in places like the DC market and South in Richmond. As was mentioned, my grandfather came down here and spoke with Mr. Cosner and others at the time in the late 70s and early 80s. My father and myself and my brother now are very much committed, and we're grooming our fourth generation, and we plan to be in this community for decades to come. So we have every intent, and our dollars are really, we're putting our money where our mouth is.